Okay guys, how's it going? So this will be a very quick and short video on how to make it so that you can create an enemy that when the enemy gets hit, it takes damage and it plays a sound, and then when the enemy dies, it plays another sound and then gets destroyed. So the setup of this is actually pretty simple. What we're going to do first is we're going to make a new blueprint class, and I'm going to right click blueprint class. I'm going to select an actor blueprint. Now, when making a proper character, we might actually use a character blueprint, but for now, we're just going to make an actor that just spawns in the world, and we're just going to make it so the code works. Once we know the code's working, we can easily transfer that into different blueprints if we need to. So for now, we're going to make an actor blueprint. I'm not going to click this because I've already made one for you guys. So I'm going to cancel, and I'm going to go into the blueprint that I made. So right here is the blueprint that we have. So the setup for this project was actually pretty simple. I just started a normal Unreal map, and I'm not even really caring about what the props are, because really what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get the code working. So the placeholder for this enemy is actually going to be a chair. Why a chair? Because it's the first thing I found. It's going to be a chair. So what we're going to do is you want to first find a chair or find any object, any static mesh. So I'm going to click on filter. I'm going to find static meshes. I'm going to scroll down to find which one I want, and then I'll just drag out here. I'm not going to do that now because I already have my object here, as you guys can see. The second thing you need for this project is you're going to need some actual sound, so that when the enemy gets touched, you have sound. You can easily import your sound by clicking in here and going to your downloads, or going to your music, or you can just click and drag and find your music and drag your music into the content browser. Either method works well. So I actually have a folder already here called sound. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this folder. I have two sounds here. I have a realistic punch sound, and I have a dying sound. You can hear that one sound. You can hear that sound. Really simple audio, only maybe 1 second long. That's really all I need for it. I need to be a quick sound that plays. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag both of these audio clips into this blueprint here. And I'm going to actually maximize it because I'm really going to be focused on this. So the way we test out things in Unreal is we just make very basic scripts that do roughly what we want it to do. And then from there, we're just going ahead and tweak it to fit what we need later on. So for this, because I know that I want to just check and make sure the enemy takes damage, and we need to have a player health system or damage system. I'm just going to basically set up a collider. So I'm going to do maybe a spear collider. Spear collision. And drag that in here. And with this spear collision, I'm going to actually increase the radius. And we're going to make it so that when the player goes within this radius, this object right here takes some damage. So to set that up, we're going to go into our event graph, which is essentially where we do all our scripting inside of Unreal. And I'm going to set up two things. The first thing I'm going to set up is I'm going to set up a health system. So to do that is very simple. We're just going to make two new variables by clicking right here. I'm going to name one variable starting health. One variable starting health. And I'm going to change that to be we'll do an integer, that's fine. I'm going to make another variable, and that variable will be called current health. So that's all fine and dandy. Alright, so what we're going to do is when you start the game, you want to know that the enemy has health. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag out the starting health, and we want to just get the starting health. So we want to know what health the player has to start out with. Now we need a value to plug this into. We're going to plug this starting health value into your current health, and we're going to set the current health. When you start the game, your current health will be equal to your starting health. Like that. Pretty simple. Not too complex there. Cool. So we have a basic rudimentary health system. And now if you click on the variable, you notice it says please compile the blueprint. For that, all we have to do, we just have to press the compile button. And then save it. And now the value will appear for starting health and current health. So let's make the starting health 100. Like that. So cool, that works. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that whenever the player touches this sphere, this object here takes damage. So to do that, we're going to click on this sphere here, and we're going to right click, go to add event for sphere, collision, and add on component begin overlap. So what we're going to do before we edit any of this stuff, in fact, no, let's edit it first. So whenever another actor overlaps with this object, the player will lose, let's say, 10 health. So we're going to get the current health, which should be right here. We're going to set that to be minus 10. Now the actor is, let's do player character. And we'll just leave that alone. It's not that important. We just know that when it overlaps, this character loses 10 health. Now, I noticed I made a mistake here. That's just because I wasn't really thinking when putting this here. What I did was I said that when a component overlaps with its object, the current health was setting to -10. We don't want that. We want to actually leave the current health as is, and we're going to drag off on current health again. We're going to get that value. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug this value into the current health. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of math. So we know that whenever an object touches this sphere, we want the current health to decrease by 10. So we'll drag off on this pen, and we'll put minus. And we'll do integer minus integer. And let's do 10. And let's plug that in to the current health. So now whenever another actor touches the this object, it loses 10. And it sets that new value to be what the current health is. And just to check it, we'll do a simple print string. We'll do a print string on execution mode. Ooh, not that one. Print string. And we'll connect it there. So now we just make sure we can see what that is. Now, another very important thing to do before we call this all good, I mean, we can compile this, but there's one more thing we have to do. We either click on the sphere, and right now the collision is set so that when it overlaps with anything, it'll take damage. We want this sphere to only activate when it collides with the player. So we're going to scroll down, go to collision preset, and we're going to make it custom. And we're going to ignore everything except for the pawn, which is the player. We'll compile, we'll save, and we're good to go. So now, make this full screen. And let's make sure I have my first person in here. So when I play the game, I should have my character with the gun. Cool. Now, let's bring out this blueprint and just check to see if this worked. So, when I play the game, we should see a message when I get close to it, minus 10. Minus 10, and minus 10. That's a very, very simple health system for our player, or for our enemy. So now let's take this a little bit further. Since we have the basics, we can actually go a little bit further and just add in, hey, when the player gets damaged, let's play a sound. So, logically speaking, we'll do when the overlap happens, we want to play a sound and then set the current health to be minus 10. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna drag out on. I want to do realistic punch. And click that, and I'm gonna type in play sound. Not that one. play sound at location. Like so. The sound asset I want to be, we actually don't need the sound here. We're going to make the sound asset and find the realistic punch. And connect it here, connect that there. Now we just need to find the location. What location do we want this object to spawn from? What I want is, I want to find wherever this enemy character is. I'm going to get that location. I'm going to get world location. So I can only find the location in the world. Yeah, I can connect that. And now we're good to go. Now when I compile and I play the game in a new editor window, I touch and it deal with that, play the sound. So we have the feedback knowing that the sound is being played. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to, first I'm actually going to delete these sounds because it turns out I didn't need them after all. Because what we did, we just found the sound by clicking this and going down to the bottom. Alright, so next we want to have something happen when the player dies. So for that, what we can do is we can actually create something called an event tick. And when an event tick does it, it checks to see if something happens every frame. What we're going to do is we're going to drag off and we're going to get a branch, which is basically a true or false statement. Now what we want to check, if the current health is less than or equal to 0, we want to play the death sound, and then we want to wait a second before it dies. So to do that, we're going to drag off on and get the current health again, like that, and we're going to check if it's less than or equal to a certain number. This number we want is 0. Now you see this red pen right here? That red pen means it's like an execution pen. So this is the condition it's looking for. If it is less than or equal to 0, I'm actually going to copy this. It makes it easier to copy these nodes. Copy this. Play it here. And I'm going to find the dying sound. Then what I want to do is I want to set a delay, 0.5 seconds. And then I want to destroy this actor by typing in destroy. When I destroy this actor, that means that no more sound to play. This blueprint will basically not be there anymore. And you don't have to worry about any sound playing after that. Let's compile, minimize, let's play. So, touch it. You hear the damage, you see it taking damage. So it played the sound, waited a second, and then it got destroyed. So there we have it. That's a very, very simple way to set up a enemy health system, and also make it so that when the enemy dies or the sound goes off, it plays the death sound and it's done. Now, even though making a full-on enemy system is a little bit more complex than this is the basic that you need in order to get this going, and you can easily extrapolate a more complex system just off of this right here. In the future, I will be going over more complex ways of doing this, but for now, this is a good start. Gets you introduced to the concept, gives you the building block, and then in future videos, we'll go even more and more complex. So, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you later. See ya.